Alright guys, today I wanted to talk about 9 digital nomad visas that don't have any income requirements. Now, most have some kind of financial requirement that you have to show through, bank statements, through money transfers, a variety of ways, depending on the country. But there are a surprisingly decent amount of countries that you don't have to do that for. Now, some are still you don't want to just show up and not have a job. You usually still have to show that you have a job and do either like a contract, or you can show that you have income statements coming in from these different from freelance works. You still need a job. You can't just go and get a digital nomad visa. But these are 9 that you don't have to show any income for, which can be nice. Sometimes showing income from different places of work can be challenging, especially if there's like heavy fluctuation from month to month, which I totally get. So these might be of interest to you if you just don't feel like dealing with that. And oftentimes these are easier to apply for because you can skip out on the financial thing. Now, you still want to look into if there's criminal background checks. Some have those. Others have really interesting health screening things that I can get into in a different video, but this is just exclusively no income requirements. Now, number 1 is in the Caribbean, and you're going to find that there's actually a lot of Caribbean-based countries that have 1 to 2 year digital nomad visas that don't have financial requirements. Now, most of these countries, you can only stay for the 1 or 2 years, and you can't really extend any longer. And most of the time, these digital nomad visas don't build up to residency or citizenship. In a number of other countries throughout the world, these are years that you can count towards citizenship, which can be beneficial if you're looking to be full-time someplace else. But if you're looking to like island hop in the Caribbean, 1 year in one country, 1 year in another country, and just kind of do that for a decade, that is an option. But you have Anguilla in the Caribbean. There is no financial requirements for this. And I want to point out, this is all current as of this date that I'm recording it, in the end of January 2024. If one of these countries sounds good, look into it. Because sometimes they change. You never know. But yeah, as of right now, Anguilla, no financial requirements. Now, the application fee is $2,000. So you're going to have to throw some cash. That's kind of towards the higher end of the application fees. But yeah, so you don't have to prove income. And so yeah, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. And also, that is one of those countries that only allows you to stay for 1 year and then you're out. If you're feeling more European into Middle East area, Armenia is another country that does not have any financial requirements. Now, you do have to start a business in the country for you to be given the digital nomad visa. Basically, you're starting the equivalent of an LLC in Armenia, and it's super easy. You might need a little help when you're there, but that wouldn't cost very much, and it's super straightforward. You just kind of fill out some paperwork, and the cost of admission and all that stuff. It's in total, the whole thing would cost about a couple $100, and you'd be given the digital nomad visa. And yeah, you could probably hire a local immigration attorney to help you out with that. Super straightforward. Another one, we're going back to the Caribbean. It's the Bahamas. Surprisingly, the Bahamas does not have a financial requirement. Some of those places can get a little pricey, so you want to have income coming in. Don't think just because there's no income requirements that you can just kind of bum it. You're going to need some money coming in. This is another visa that, actually this visa you can apply or renew after 12 months. And you will need copies, letters from your employer saying you can work overseas, or you need copies of freelance contracts to show. Again, you have to show that you're working, but you don't need to show how much money you're making. I'm staying in the area. You have Bermuda. Bermuda is expensive. I'm just going to tell you straight out of the gate, Bermuda is expensive. And yeah, it's one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive place that you can live in the Caribbean. Heck, even if you throw in the rest of South America, it's pricey, but you don't have to show your financial documents, which is beneficial. But if you're looking for Thailand-like prices, for a living, you'll want to go someplace else. But no financial requirements, so keep that in mind. Next you have Curacao, again in the Caribbean. It's right off the coast of, I think it's Venezuela. I'm trying to picture on the map, but it's really in there. It's so far south in the Caribbean that it really doesn't get any of the hurricanes. Most of the hurricanes twist up above it. You might get a little rainfall, but if you want to be in the Caribbean and avoid all of those storm things, this is perfect. In fact, it's part of the Netherlands kingdom, basically. It's governed by the Dutch. And this is one, the digital nomad visa is shorter. It's 6 months. You can apply to extend it for longer, so it's a full year. But so keep that in mind. But it very much has a European meets Caribbean feel to it, and it's actually. It does, beyond the digital nomad visa, it does give you kind of a backdoor option to get Netherlands residency citizenship. I can get into that in a different video, but if you can get basically Curacao residency citizenship, you are then basically part of the Netherlands kingdom. And then when you have that residency, you are given you basically have a European passport, and that opens up so many other options for traveling through Europe. And so something to consider if you want to do something longer term. It'd have to be something beyond the digital nomad visa. But if you're looking to try the country out just to see what it's like, you got 6 months up to a year, and there's no financial requirements. There's St. Lucia, again, more Caribbean, and it has no income requirements for that. And it's just one of those other countries where if you want to bounce around the Caribbean for years and years and years, you can do that. And quite frankly, you can bounce around and then kind of circle back and continue on, and reapply for countries you've already been to with the digital nomad visa. You very literally can live out in the Caribbean from here on out until they start doing away with those digital nomad visas. But something to consider. Seychelles, however you feel like pronouncing it. But yeah, that slice, a little hunk of island paradise. No financial requirements for a digital nomad visa. And the application price is actually super low. It's only €45 per person. You do need insurance to cover you specifically on the islands. So yeah, there's that, and then right next to it is Mauritius. That doesn't get as much press as Seychelles, but it's right next to it, and it's got a similar digital nomad visa situation where you can only stay for about a year, but then you can bounce to the other one. And the thing is, because they're so kind of far off from every place else, you're not really going to be traveling, most likely, to a whole bunch of other places. In the Caribbean, it's you're so close, you can bounce around. Again, in Europe, you're so close. But in these places, you are more or less isolated. But at least since they're so close to each other, since Seychelles and here is so close, you can kind of, go back and forth. And if you just don't feel like being in the Caribbean, if you want something off East Africa, total viable option. And one of the crazier things about this is not only is there no financial requirements, but it doesn't cost to apply either. As we said earlier, some of these can cost up to thousands of dollars to apply for your visa. This is just nothing. So, basically you'd be paying for your flight and everything to get out there, but once you're there, you're not paying for the application and stuff, which is awesome thing if you're looking for it, especially if you just want to check it out. There you go. All right, Uruguay in South America. They have a digital nomad visa. You don't have to pay for it. Now, this is a common misconception I hear from a lot of people. They hear Uruguay, they hear South America, and they instantly think, that's going to be cheap. It is not. Uruguay is by far the most expensive country in South America in terms of buying stuff. It's right on par with a lot of European countries. I have done comparisons because I myself was looking at moving out someplace to Spain and comparing it to costs in Uruguay. There's the capital of Montevideo is actually the cost of living there is more expensive than the cost of living in Valencia, Spain. And Valencia, in case you're not sure, is right on the coast of the Mediterranean, and so you're right there on the Mediterranean. It is cheaper to live there than Uruguay's Montevideo. So keep that in mind. If you really want South America, I mean, this is an option, and I mean, it is a ferry ride away from Buenos Aires, which is nice. It's super easy to get into Brazil from there. I mean, it's just that little buffering country between, Argentina and Brazil. And so you have a nice food culture from both. I mean, it's very pretty, but again, expensive. It's, European prices in South America, basically. So keep that in mind, but it doesn't require any financial documentation like that to receive your digital nomad visa. But yeah, that is... those are the countries I wanted to cover here that don't have any financial requirements. In the end, there are more affordable options, even if there is a financial requirement for some of these digital nomad visas that I'll get into in a different video. But I thought I'd just cover these, and yeah, it's worth noting. And if you watch this video and have any questions, let me know down there in the comments. And if there's a specific topic you want me to cover, let me know in the comments as well. I'd be happy to get into that, to just go over, my own experience and applying to these different visas and all that stuff. I will be applying for a new digital nomad visa in the coming months, so I will be walking you guys through the process of me doing that when it comes time. But anyways, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I love to hear from you and any questions you might have. But for now, you guys take care.